Eton.
Okay. Eton's pod.
Yeah, I think so. It's
Is
been
that
been a minute.
the hat you got in when you were here in Colorado?
Hell yeah, downhill brewing. You
There we
got
go.
this.
All right. Well, I guess the pod's going to be sponsored by Downhill Brewing today. So, welcome back to the RDN Roller Show. It's been a minute. It's been a couple months, but the boys are back and we're ready to go. I guess you could say it's officially roller season now that we're in January 2025. Narch Winter Nationals has passed, so you can guess. I guess you can say we're already in it. So, um, we got our boy out on the east though, as always, Anthony Merrigan. Uh, you were out in Arch Winter Nationals as well too. So, and we've had a lot that's happened in the last, I would say, week with both
Oh
of our
yeah.
NHL clubs too.
Oh
So,
yeah.
first, how's the kid doing? And how's Dom doing too? And how's the wife?
Dom's doing great. Give it to Kimmy. She traveled with him solo out to California. I kind of fucked it up. I should have went out with them and then she
Yeah,
should have
you for
left
sure
before the
should have done that.
yeah, and she should have left before the tournament. But I think we only did it just because she had the free day off. So like we did it vice versa. But Dom's chilling. He's here right now. So if he goes nuts, my apologies to anyone listening. But he's got his rocket puck and a rocket power shirt on. So
There we go.
he's living life right now. But my man got to travel to California, was sick winning 30s with him. So got to put Dom in the
Back to
cup.
back, right?
Yeah, back to back for me technically because I played with Palmer the one year and we won. So just cleaning up in the old man
Damn,
division,
dude, the
I
kid's
guess.
gone triples.
Yeah, I'm just getting old, but it was nice to get away because it was like 10 degrees here the whole week too, and I know you guys got smacked with cold weather too. So it was nice to like get away and be in like the 70s, 80s, and it was perfect weather. We didn't have like really any rink issues with moisture, so it was just like it just wound up working out perfect weather wise, and then came home. Big trade for you in the NHL market. Big trade for us last night with the Flyers.
Dude.
So it's just like hockey's back, baby.
Dude, it is. All right, so I guess we're just going to get into the NHL talk first, and then we're getting into Narch Winter Nationals. We got a whole bunch of little topics we're going to talk about today. Tournament locations, where the national tournaments are this summer, kind of talk about them, talk about the venues, and just some other, thoughts on roller going on around the league. Or I guess you could say just around. Well, there's no
Yeah,
league. So
yeah.
first, though, last week, Friday night, I believe it was, we're sitting there. Everyone's just having a great night getting ready, just watching a movie, and then all of a sudden, you get an Instagram, little notification, ESPN. You just boom. I think it was Spit and Chicklets who first reported it,
Yeah.
and then I got on Twitter, and you just started seeing it. Colorado Avalanche ended up trading Rantanen to Carolina Hurricanes for Jack Jury and Martin Nessus or Nexus, I guess you
Nexus.
could
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
He's good though. He's good. At
Yeah, he's
first,
fast as
I
shit.
as an Avs fan, at first I was pretty bummed. I was just like, what the hell's going on? Whole bunch of emotions. And then you start hearing rumors 8-7's coming here, Sidney Crosby. And then you're like, is that true or is that not true? And in the back of my head, I was like, that ain't true. That can't be true. But a little me has that hope. I'm like, damn, maybe he is. Um, but yeah, crazy trade. Just a crazy trade. Honestly, the boys haven't looked bad. Haven't won a whole lot of games in the last week, but they haven't looked bad against the Rangers. I think that was the best, they looked. And Martin Esses, he's so fast. So if him and McKinnon can just be flying and get some chemistry, I think that's going to be huge. Opened up some cap space, maybe bring someone else in by the end of the trade
Yeah,
deadline. So it sucks as an Avs fan, but I mean, like, what are you going to do?
yeah.
We just
I
lost a
think that
50 goal scorer and a 100 point, producer a season.
and it sucks because it sounds like and again I'm not on boots on the ground in Colorado, but it sounds like they didn't
No
even
one
like
is.
yeah, that's what you were saying, right? Like it's been kind of weak coverage, but they didn't even like approach McKinnon from what we know.
Do you have to?
Like
I get it. You probably should. He's your
I mean,
superstar,
yeah,
but it,
him maybe not like like a third or fourth liner, but like him, like
yeah,
that's like
like
Batman
you're
and Robin sort of
like Kobe and
situation. You know what I
Shaq.
mean? So I don't know. It's weird, but I mean, that just is nasty. He was like crushing it in the beginning of the year, and he's kind of like tapered off a little bit. But
He has
and
some
then
sick
apparently,
style. He likes to roll
oh,
his.
dude,
Have you
he
seen
does.
that?
Yeah, he's
Rolls
got
his
six
jersey up
side
into the
double
elbows.
eights. Like, come on, big eight,
Yeah.
like Eric Lindros, double eights. Come on, that's a sick
Hey,
number.
hey, Colorado and Philly connect. Colorado,
There you go.
Philly
There you
connect.
go. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be good. He's not going to be Rantanen. And then, of course, Rantanen scores like I think it was last night, 2 or 2
That
nights
was a
ago.
weak goal. It like
Yeah,
twickled in, and
but you could tell
obviously,
Rantanen was pissed about like the trade, kind of like
all
he
right.
like
Well, this
made some
is okay.
comments. So
This is a roller hockey podcast, but I guess we're gonna get into it.
we're getting into the show.
Yeah, so he can be pissed, I guess, because that's his decision ultimately, right? But his agent, isn't that kind of like his agent, the one that's gonna make that final decision
Yeah.
with
So
how
and a
much
lot of
money?
yeah, and a lot of people are saying like they're going to be interested to see if he keeps his agent because he's got the same agent as Drysdale, and Drysdale got
What
that
if he
big too.
signs with the Avs in the offseason, just back with the Avs? You've seen
That
the
that's
rumors
what
with
some people
the
are saying.
and today, look how much the cap's going up in the next 5 years. It's insane. It's going to be 110 million in
Could you imagine if he just
2026,
went back?
2027.
If he just went back to the Avs after the year, like
Signs
to
for
make a ton,
11,
that would
11.75.
that would be crazy. That would be
Insane.
like that would be dramatic, like NBA dramatic type shit.
Yeah. Well, I think so far right now, bummed. Too early to tell like who's won the trade. Obviously, Carolina has a better end with getting Rantanen, but who knows? Hopefully, we can bring someone else in by the end of the year, by the end of the trade deadline, just so we can go to the playoffs and just be more deep. We're really not that deep on our third and fourth line, and even honestly, like our like without Landeskog now it's just McKinnon, right? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously we have our
it's tough.
and we have Nichushkin either, so yeah. Well,
We'll
I
see.
got confident in the Avs though. We got some
Yeah,
nasty tendies, and we got
Mc-
McCarr, we got McKinnon. If you got those two in there, you always got a chance.
McKinnon and McCarr like can carry a team. That's the crazy thing. Like those two, just like Drysdale and McDavid carried the Warriors, like those two can carry a team
Yeah,
into the fight. So, and McKinnon's a dog. I think he's like the best player right now, in my
hands down.
opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty crazy. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we had to talk about it because that's like one of the biggest in-season trades in quite some time.
Yeah,
Like that.
and I was emotionally distraught.
Yeah,
I
you
had
you
no
were
idea where
you
I
were
was at.
shook. You were literally shook.
Dude, I was pissed. But all right, so last night though, then the boys, the Flyers get a trade. So
Yeah.
as a Philly fan, who's winning that trade?
I'm happy because
Break the
like
trade down first for us.
yeah, so you got Farabee and Frost were traded for Jacob Peltier and Kuzmenko. Now there's two things. Like Farabee had a salary that was pretty decent. Oh, and there's two picks too included
Yeah.
coming back to the Flyers. But so Farabee and Frost needs to be resigned. Farabee had a salary. They got to dump out a bunch of salaries. So Flyers are gonna have a ton of cap space. And like for Kuzmenko coming here, like he played with Mitchkov before. So some people
In the
have some like
KHL, right?
yeah, some thoughts about that. Like maybe that'll help him in the long run, and maybe he'll be able to find his scoring touch again. The dude had 39 in his rookie year, I think, or summer second year.
Yeah, he
So
was
he can
he played
score.
with Elias Pettersson.
Yeah. So and that's another thing people are saying. Like, are the Flyers going after Pedersen now because Kuzmenko had his best years with that? So there's
Who would
also
you trade though to get him?
yeah, I don't. We have tons of picks. We have like 7 picks in the first 2 rounds, but I doubt that happens. But just like with the Avs, like Crosby going there's just rumor mill shit, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like Crosby already came out said he's not leaving, but so
Dude, if
yeah,
it
so
happened, oh my
I
god.
and again like roller pod, but we both had big trades in our market, so I figured it was worth kind of talking about touching base on a little bit. But I think it's kind of an even trade, honestly. Like a lot of people are saying Flyers got fleeced, but like to be honest, Frost and Farabee really haven't been doing anything, so they need a change of scenery. And if they're successful in Calgary, then awesome for them. At the end of the day, Flyers open up cap space and they could do shit with it. So I don't know. It's our little NHL,
Those are
analyst
our
type.
thoughts on the
Yeah,
Avs and the Flyers, your little
fans.
yeah, your local breakdown of the sports network. So
Yeah, there you go.
and the birds, bang bang bird gang. Bang bang bird gang. Birds are going to the
And
Super Bowl. I just had to shout that out.
yeah, I was actually so we were there in
I bet you
California.
Jazz, my boy
He,
Jazz
he's going
Kickline,
nuts.
Kitchline, he's probably just going insane right now.
He's going
Biggest
nuts.
biggest birds fan there is. Rec league
Well,
team, bird gang.
they when we were in California, they have a Eagles bar, and we went to it for. I actually had to go pick up Kimmy. But when they played LA, they had an Eagles bar, and like the guys I was with, Jastro, my boy Foster, my boy Zach, they all went to the bar and watched the game there, and it was fucking crazy. Actually, like I was like, this is nuts. Like this feels like we're in Philly. Like that's how like packed it was, and like chants and everything. Like it was pretty sick, actually. So birds are hot. We had a little watch party at the rink last week because we had a big break for the game, obviously, and they whooped up on the Commanders. So I mean, I know, but yeah, it's pretty sick that they're going back to the Super Bowl against, of course, the Chiefs, and fucking you're gonna have Mahomes just getting every call. It's I don't want to get into it, but
Well, yeah, let's get into roller. So, little Philly breakdown there for you guys. But Ant was at Narch Winternationals. Break down Narch Winternationals for us. How was the vibes? And let's get in the Pro Division because I think the biggest surprise is Skittles didn't make the playoffs. I just think
yeah,
just looking at that, the teams there, you would think Skittles is probably going to be one of the top teams, but they also had a tough schedule too when you look
yeah,
at it.
yeah.
But yeah, break down the Pro Division for us too. Kind of, you were there firsthand, getting to see it stuff and.
Yeah. I mean, the vibes are always good at Winter Nationals. Like especially like when you don't get to see a lot of people and that's the first tournament of the year, everyone's, you're having good conversations with people. Like I was talking to Kocher for a while about like different things with Bauer, talking to Cripps about the same thing. Was talking to Boyo about Connex. Like it was just awesome. Like you're talking to everybody. And you're kind of just seeing, everybody you haven't seen since summer. So it's pretty sweet. So the vibes are always good. And the weather, like I said, was fucking perfect for Winter National. Like little chilly in the morning and at night and during the day it was like perfect weather. As far as the pro division goes, definitely an interesting pro division. Like usually Black Ice, Palma, usually even have like an Outcast team in there. Like none of those teams were in it this time. Now you did have the Dangle Dojo, which had some Palma guys on it. Black Ice had the 2.0 team, which really only had Let's Go from the Black Ice team on it. But and then you had a bunch of new faces and new teams and mixed moshes of teams all in there. And you're right, like a Skittles team not making the playoffs, who brought in a guy like Rockman as well, right? And you would think like, oh
Brockman
shit,
was on Skittles.
yeah, he was on
Forgot
Skits.
that.
And there was
Damn.
another, I can't remember who it was, another guy from Border Cats that was on Skittles too. I don't know if you want to look it up, but they brought in a couple guys and they basically needed. So this is a kind of crazy story. They needed to win, I think, to secure their spot in the last round robin game against the OC Blades. So Foster broke his skate. Brian Foster broke his skate and was like, I saw him like, we just got done our game. He's kind of limping around the rink with one boot. I was like, yo, do you want my skates? So he threw my skates on, finished the game out. I was like, so hoping he like tucked one so I could be like, yo, apple to me. But they wound up losing that game, I think.
Drew Girth.
And Girth, that's who it was. Yep. And they wound up losing that game, and that eliminated them and wound up pushing in, I think, maybe I forget who it was, maybe Black Ice 2.0 is who wound up getting in because they had a big upset in the round robin. So again, not the same teams that we normally see, but it was different and more competitive in a way. I'm not saying like the skill level was the highest it's ever been, but it was definitely more competitive because it was really anybody's tournament, right?
Yeah.
Like you could have seen anybody winning it. Like it
Everyone
wound up
lost a
being,
game in round
yeah,
robin.
yeah. So and you saw Freeze and the Dojo, who probably had the most pro, roster aside from like, and even we thought as the Wings, we thought we should have made playoffs too
Yeah,
when
I
we were
thought
looking at
that
it.
was a shock too.
I
I have to say, I'd say the boys, like East Coast boys, I thought you guys were going to come in and make
we
playoffs and maybe squeak
when
one in.
when
The
you
the
lose,
30 and over
I know.
repeat champion. I
I was
mean,
focused on 30s, but
yeah.
no, I actually only made like a period of the 30 over division. But we had two games. If you have two games where your goalie only gives up two goals and you don't win those games, like you're not making playoffs, like at the end of the day. So, but yeah, it was interesting not to see a couple of the teams you thought would have been in playoffs in and then or not in, and then teams jumping up in, and then the championship game was sweet. I mean, it really was back and forth. I think I said it
Was
on
it
like the live stream. It was like different than your typical championship, which is usually a chess match. This was like fucking
back and forth?
shooter's gallery. Yeah, it was like back and forth. Free scored like three goals back to back to back on like three shots.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
pretty
both
cool.
teams had nasty rosters, and I'm going to tell you what, if there's somebody, and I don't like saying like comeback player or like whatever, but if there's a guy that's just back,
Yeah.
he's back, it's Kyle Novak.
Oh yeah.
Kyle Novak, you know, has just taken like from I guess you could say just 2 years ago. Um, Dom, enter
Don
Dom
making
into
his
the pod.
debut.
There we go,
Dom
the
on the
big
pod making his
debut.
debut. Sorry.
No, but Kyle Novak honestly just has taken just different levels to his game, and he's just back, and you can see it on and off the rink too. He was here in Colorado for Paiha with the Chaos, and the dude is he's just so good. And you can just see he's so dedicated. He's playing with the freeze all the time, put his black
Yep.
ice over the summer. Um, but he's back. That's just one player I'm happy to see back in, just playing roller.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see him. And, but that freeze team there, that was a good team. That was a really
Dude,
good team.
you did a post about it after with the jerseys.
Yeah.
Dude, I think their color combo's sick. Like with the
That's
with the buckets, like and everything, like they really
the
like he does it
gloves.
right. Yeah, like Vince does it. It's Vince Freeze,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He does
Vince.
it
Yeah.
right.
Vince
Like he
free.
he he fucking hooks it up, and he's like dialed into it because I think he posted something like he
Bro,
was
he
away at
was
a
in
work
like
trip. But
Cancun
yeah,
and the game's going on and
but he
he's
was
sending you,
DMing us
yeah, he's
like the whole
sending
time.
logos.
Yeah. So he was like DMing us, and even throughout the tournament, he was like, "Hey, like update," because with like it being Winter Nationals, it's not all live scoring and stuff. So sometimes
Yeah.
there's delays, and I know that from being on the other side, like at the tournament directing side. But yeah, he was like dialed in the whole tournament, like at a work trip. So it's pretty cool that he's like that invested. And I heard rumors about it. I don't know. Do we have a rumors thing in here? Any
Yeah, we
rumors?
got some rumors that I can
All right,
break.
so we'll save it. We're saving for that,
Yeah.
I guess.
I
But
mean, we
there's
can
rumors
get,
about that freeze team.
all right. Well,
So
we'll get into the rumor stuff right after this.
yeah,
Uh,
sure.
but, the Dangle Dojo, kind of like, guess you would say a Palma mix. But their goalie, Kenny, I think it's Kenny Eichel or Eichel.
Yep.
He's a
Yeah.
stud. I know he plays
He's
with Outcast a lot, but he's a
yeah.
stud.
That's
And
like I was saying, you had a bunch of different guys on different teams. I think the whole thing with the dojo, the funniest part was we released the rosters, and I asked Eton like 10 times for the one guy's last name Cameron, right?
yeah,
And he just like wasn't answering me, so I just went along with it and just put Cameron, right?
Eton just sent Cameron.
Yeah, and dude, there was just like there was well, he should the roster he gave me had like nicknames on there. Some only had last names. Luckily, I was able to use like
Was
the Narc
Mooney's
site.
just Mooney?
Yeah, but again, like I knew some of them, and then he gave me like last names of other guys, and like I was able to go on the Narc site and just search on the player side and figure out who it was. But Cameron, I couldn't find him anyway or anywhere because he spells it with I think with a K. So
Yeah.
I met him after, and I was like, hey, by the way, like I'm Anthony. I like I do roller dad stuff, and he was like dying. He's like, dude, he's like, I haven't been on the scene in a while. He's like, my Instagram was blowing up. It was actually really cool. I was like, people are calling you Seal, like just a one name only type of guy. But he was like super cool about it, and he played well. I think he had a goal against us, I think. And I was cracking up talking to him after the game about it. But it was really cool, like, to see some other guys who haven't played in the pro division come back and win it. Like, they had junior playing defense. It was like a weird mix. Like, but it was
Hey,
cool
it
to see.
worked, right?
Yeah, it worked. They won. So
And I mean, that chemistry you have though with a lot of those guys, they're playing together. A couple of his buddies, like that, coach at the Dangle Dojo. I know it's Garrett, and
oh
I
yeah,
forgot the
Garrett, yeah.
yeah. But you can just see, like, I mean, they're comfortable playing with each other. And Mooney Junior, Eton, I think Taylor Arneson was on their team too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, he's the man.
that's a good chemistry for Palma. So
Oh
that
yeah.
championship game though, fun to watch. The highlight video Darren put together and Lionel with my FMT put together. That was nasty too. So
Yeah. And they had Verstegen on the team as well. He's like one of my favorite. We talked about him
oh,
the other
Verstegen, we got to
episode.
get into Verstegen. Talk about the championship game and what happened with Verstegen.
So there's like two parts to it. So he like comes over to me. So they at Irvine, everyone knows the parking's like tough, right? To say the least.
Tough, buddy.
So
It's the worst in the league.
yeah, they make an announcement on the loudspeaker, like, hey, if you have a blue Tesla, it's about to be towed. Tom's into it. And he like comes over to me, he's like, hey, like, I hate to do this, but like, can you like grab a friend or something to move my Tesla? They're gonna tow it. So I was like, I don't really trust like any of my friends. Like they've been drinking. Like I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna grab a guy to go drive a Tesla. I know they're whatever drive themselves and stuff, but so I got my boy Foster to take over the stream. Meanwhile, that's happening. I'm trying to find his like keys and stuff and find parking, which is a nightmare. Someone tries kicking Foster off of our stand where I was doing the live stream from. So if you go back and rewatch that game, you'll see him kind of get into a little like argument with a guy.
Oh,
And the guy
Brian
was like,
Foster.
no, my boy Nick Foster
Oh,
from back in the
oh,
day.
okay.
And the guy he's like, yo, you got to get down. He's like, all right, well, like I'm doing the live stream for Darren or for Narch. And then he's like, all right, the guy like jumps back off, and my buddy's like, fucking idiot. Like, on the stream, he just like got hot mic'd. So
Yeah.
anyway, I find parking for Stegan, and shout out to I was trying to think who Bruno, who plays out there, lives
Yeah.
out there. He like saved a spot for me because he saw me like circling. I was like, guys, I got to get back and like, when do you move? And then Luis and him actually moved their car for me to get a parking spot and then just park like behind me.
Okay.
So they kind of hooked it up and found me a spot so I can park and watch the championship and get back to
Nice.
streaming.
That's
So,
dope.
but
That's
yeah,
just a
so
roller dad
little
right
side.
there.
That's a roller dad move right there. A little side story, but he's the man. He was like super appreciative of it. Like offered to like buy me a beer, the whole nine. So he's a good dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it looked like a great time. Looked like a great championship. Like you said, that pro division definitely very just I guess you could say competitive with everybody losing a game in round robin, 3-1s, 1-3s, and Skittles 2-2.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely different, still cool, and still still it's always a fun time just getting to play out there. And obviously we talked about the parking, like bathrooms. There are issues with the rink itself in general, but like I don't know. Every time I walk in there, and like my buddy who's never been there, Zach played
It's
there with
sick.
me. He's like, dude, he didn't even want to play like hockey. He's like, oh, I'm playing hockey, but I'm really going to California. And then like it flipped when he walked in. He's like, oh yeah, I'm playing hockey, and now I'm in
Yeah,
California.
no shit. I mean, you guys went what 1-3, so maybe I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's all.
Um, no, I mean, yeah, we've beat a dead horse with Irvine. It's just nasty. But getting into the women's division too. There's two teams that always see each other in the women's pro division, Palma and Ringster. And Ringster, I gotta say, we did the jersey thing. I think Ringster, hands down, I've said this. They probably have the best jerseys year after year,
Awesome.
tournament after tournament. Um, just whoever designs them, I'm pretty sure it's Laura. But
Yeah, I think
whoever
it's
keeps
Laura. Yeah.
designing these tournament after tournament, it's always something new and it's sick. So my hat, if I were to put put something, I don't even know how to say it. If I were to vote,
There you go.
I'd probably be Ringster. I'd
Yeah.
probably be Ringster for best jerseys. So
And they were like simple, but they're so sick. Like
yeah, they're
this
so
year, they're like simple, but like they're sick. Like
yeah,
the
they're
black with
clean.
the white pants. Yeah,
Yeah.
super cool.
But that championship game though, that was another overtime game. Palma
Yeah, yeah,
versus Ringster, and I believe was it Blanca who scored the
yep,
overtime winner for Palma, and
yeah,
Palma has such good chemistry. So does Ringster, and I know Ringster brought out a girl from Spain. Was it Sierra?
yeah. I think so. I was actually just pulling up the roster. Um,
But yeah, those two teams, honestly, getting to watch them and battle it out, and just the rivalry they have is one of the funnest, just one of the funnest games every tournament to watch.
yeah, they opened up the tournament too. So I live streamed the first game of the tournament. I was only able to do a period because I had to play, but that was like back and forth too. Like usually you see those two teams sometimes go at it, and it's one goal game. Dom's excited about the women's division,
Dude, he
obviously.
loved it. Yeah.
Dude, he's loving the women's division. He got to see Irvine, but yeah, it was sick. Like they opened up the tournament, so the girls were like, they're like, wow. Usually we don't play them till like the second, third game. Tom, relax here. Usually we don't play them like the second, third game, and they had to open up the tournament against each other. So, Tom, we got to put you down, brother. But yeah, awesome nonetheless. I walked in as the game basically was in overtime, so I just got to see the game winner, but still sick game, and they always have good games against each other.
Yeah, they
So
got to do when you do an event where they do a 7 game series over a weekend,
that
that'd
would
be
be a pleasure.
unreal to watch. That would be
Yeah,
sick. Maybe like the
yeah.
Roller Dad Classic. I don't know. Something
Oh
sick like that.
shit.
All right. Well, we got some I'd say roller rumors going around that we always like to, talk about. And you can go ahead and, talk about Beta Freeze and then I'll talk about the other one.
Yeah. So the beta.
And our, we're pretty committed to our sources on these things, so
Yeah.
we're not going to say the names. I'm just going to say what we hear. Who
Yeah,
knows?
exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll take the freeze one. So it's not. I mean, again, probably people probably have
Yeah,
expected
people
it.
know it, but it's just
Yeah,
like not out there. Some people are like, "Oh, we didn't want them to know." Tell, yeah, whatever.
exactly. So it sounds like they're going to be making a push to put a pro team in several tournaments this year. I don't know which tournaments yet, and I'm sure they're trying to figure that out as well. But it sounds like they're going to be making a push to put a pro team together. And Novak, who we spoke about earlier, was playing Black Ice last year. Sounds like he's going to be kind of one of the cornerstone pieces to that freeze. I guess you'll
That'd be
call it team.
sick. Yeah.
So yeah, it's awesome. And he's been playing with them even like before he jumped back into the pro scene. He was
Oh
playing
yeah.
with them. And I was talking to Novak for a little bit after our run game too, and he was like, you could just tell like he's super like he's got the love back for the game.
Yeah,
So
he's in a good place.
good spot for sure. So it's gonna be interesting to see who they pick up because they're one of those teams when you're kind of looking at the pro scheme or pro scene, you got Car Shield, Palma, them all pretty big money teams, right? Like
And you
people
got to think
expect a
about
ton.
Rage Cats too. One of that team's on the outside right now. I would say Rage Cats and the Roadrunners are probably in the same spot. Roadrunners have one more, right? So they have more of that
Yeah,
prestige. But Rage Cats and the Roadrunners, they have that skill level that's kind of right at the same, and they're always fighting each other to get into the semifinals too.
yep,
And
exactly it.
they both have young talent. I mean, the Rage Cats are very young as well, too. So you got to think like Brian Gibb, that's a player that played with the Rage Cats, and there's a couple other
Yep,
players that join them. Like, is that the team he's going to play with? Or could you go ahead and play with this new Lebeda Freeze team that you just played with? And
exactly, exactly.
it is interesting in roller just how you can jump on these teams. You can get on a team here and then you're on another team this next tournament. And that's what roller is. And I think people have to understand that. Unless they want roster locked, and that's just a whole other conversation to have.
Yep.
But it is going to
And
be interesting to see who's going
who
to
they
get
pick
picked
up.
up
Yeah,
and who,
exactly. And they had like, and they have a good men's plat team. It's like, you know what I mean? Like just like the Silver Knights, they did pro for a little bit too. They kind of decided they
Silver
wanted to
Knights
get
could still
yeah, and they still
fairly
could
easily.
hundred
But
percent.
I
Like
get
it's
it. Like they want to play men's platinum.
they
That's
want them
their
to play
thing.
men's plat. It's a little more relaxed, you know what I mean? Not as much maybe on the line. I know, obviously anytime you play for a POM organization, you have a little more to play for. They hold a high
Mhm.
regard. But yeah, like you said, it's gonna be interesting to see who they pick up because again, a team who can help with like the funding aspect of it is gonna always attract players. And maybe a couple guys do jump ship because of that. It's
Yeah.
part of the game. Not everybody can be like, a black
Like
ice team.
Not everyone's the Yankees.
Yeah,
Not everyone
exactly.
has Walmart money like the Broncos.
Yeah, exactly. The Broncos. Oh God. But yeah, so that was kind of, just what we're hearing, kind of out of Winter Nationals and from some other people that I've heard, just
Yeah.
they're
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's
teams to play
something.
in the pro Palma Pro qualifier as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you're not going to be surprised to see, especially with the talent and where you've seen them go. And it's pretty. I love Vince Free because he probably runs their account. But it's funny. Go look at the Instagram account, and they have their record in there. Pretty nasty record for all their teams. They hold it. I think they're like 74 and like 12, which is pretty nasty record.
Yeah,
And it says how many championships and stuff won. So they do a good job at that side of things too, actually covering the sport for their
oh yeah,
team. And from RDN, you got to love that and appreciate that. That's something we've always wanted from teams. So it is
all
cool to
teams
see
should have
that
it,
too.
and I'm pretty sure most teams have it now, but all teams should have like a social account like that's playing in that pro division.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All right. So next rumor, we got
this one's you. You
yeah.
broke this one. You Kevin
I didn't
Weeks
break
this one.
anything. We didn't break anything. Anyway, so I'm hearing rumors that Hawkins to the car shield. Hawkins the car shield. That's true, dude. That PP dangerous.
Oh shit.
Like, yeah, Ernie, yeah, Hawkins, Garrett Ross. I mean, there's so Spezia. There's so many pieces to that where you can play, and true Michigan team, kind of, with a lot of those
Yeah.
players being from Michigan, home base, which is cool. But yeah, big, heard Hawkins the car shield, which will be huge.
That's like the Rottenen deal in the NHL.
It is, it
There's
is.
been no
So
returning players, but
I mean, you never know. That opens up a spot. You really never
yeah,
know, and that's something maybe the snipers do go younger, and maybe they build for the future. You have no idea, but that's the thing about like roller we talk about. You never know. Like for example, let's put it like this: the chance to play for the Mission La Beta Snipers is a chance like you're gonna take, right? If
and to be
Greg and Tim
coached by
called you
Timmy Ray.
tomorrow, you would leave your team and you would go play them with them, correct? I don't know. I'm not gonna put you in that
Yeah, I
position,
mean
okay?
they
I'm not
coached
gonna,
me.
but you know
Yeah,
what I
they
mean.
coached me in Team USA. I have loyalty to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
But I'm not gonna. I shouldn't say that and put you in that position. But what I'm saying is like a lot of players would. If you got offered to play for the Mission La Beta Snipers, that's like the Yankees. Your your Colorado Avalanche, no, your New York Rangers,
Yeah,
like the
Rangers. Yeah.
prestige teams. They have so much history. And their jerseys from last year proves that with all the different pictures of all the different years. So you never know who that could open it up for and who could end up playing for them.
Yeah, I mean, like, just kind of thinking about it, I think the idea for them, considering you have Greg and Tim who have been coaching forever,
Yeah.
right? Maybe Greg makes a comeback. I already asked him if he was going to, um, but yeah, I think they do go younger. I think that is their best move. I mean, obviously, you still need your vets in
Tim
there.
will Tim and Greg are gonna listen to this and they're gonna let us know. We'll get a text and
Yeah.
they'll let us know. Yeah.
Well,
But
listen,
no,
I did talk to Greg, and I said, "Hey, before the summer, you got to come on the pod and talk about the like new look snipers." So
yeah.
he said
Yeah,
I was allowed to say that.
all right. Well, yeah, it is interesting to see what they do, and more teams around the league too. Like there's a lot of players that I'd be like, dude, like they they look good with the Snipers organization. They play that way, right? So this 2025 summer, it's going to be an interesting one. Going into it, looking at rosters, hard to say. Carshield's not one of the favorites. Uh, but honestly, you never know, especially with Lebeda Freeze being in the mix. You don't know who they get. Black Ice, Palma, those are the teams that are in every championship, every single tournament almost. So it is really going to be a 2025 summer that I'm pumped to see.
And Kraft, not that it's a rumor, but Kraft is probably already working the
Kraft
phone.
is like just texting up a storm like you have no idea what I
He
got.
was going to when they were out in Colorado. He's probably going to local rinks, seeing if there's any kind of
He's at local skate
like
city.
AHL players that just transferred to roller to see if he could sign them or something.
You know that. All right, we're gonna be right back. Okay. All right, we're back now. Back now. Sorry, a little technical difficulties, but yeah, interesting 2025 summer. And like we are saying, Kraft's probably already recruiting. He's probably been doing it after that, the end of 2024 summer game.
Yeah, anytime they don't win, they're probably recruiting, right? He's working those phones. He's like, putting his baby to bed, like texting guys on the side, like, hey, could offer you a pair of unified gloves or something. Who knows? But
I love Kraft. Kraft's the man.
hey, raise them well.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into we're talking about summer. One thing kind of want to talk about is tours. So I think we mentioned this, and it's probably people already know, but Tours for the first time, and it seems like 10 years, is moving from Florida to St. Louis, St. Peters, Missouri, where State Wars has held, I think, probably about 4 or 5 different State Wars events there.
One
One
of
of
the
the
best
coolest,
venues.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
one of the best rinks too to host a tournament. It's unbelievable. From just the seating, the locker rooms, everything. It's great. So, yeah, Tours moving from Florida to St. Louis. Surprisingly, you hear a lot of people that are kind of bummed, like
yeah,
that it's moving, but then you also like people don't want to play at 4 in the morning. So it's just like it's funny. Nothing's gonna make people happy.
yeah. It is interesting because usually, I think originally, I should say, you would have thought the other side of it. You would have thought people were like, "Oh, thank God, not going to Tampa." But it's not like the Tampa rink sucked. It was just it wasn't set up properly. I don't know the right way to put it, but
The
the bar
moisture
was
caused
cool.
issues.
Yeah, exactly. Like the moisture caused issues. It's hot as hell down there, but they had a bar there that was really awesome. The food's really awesome at that bar. The seating is sick for like the pro division, like in the main arena, and I'm sure it's sick for an 8U kid playing in that arena, looking around and like even if you're not watching those teams playing, there's always people just sitting there, right? Because it's
Yeah,
comfy. You're just chilling there. So kids probably love it as well on that side. But I mean, dude, St. Pete's Recplex is like
it's hard to
sick. Like
beat.
me and you were like in the golf cart last year, like driving rink to rink, and like that was even fun. You know what I mean? You were
Yeah,
like just passing stuff out to kids left and right, like when you were working the
prime,
snipers.
baby, prime,
Yeah, you're giving prime away like like the Pauls don't need the money, but
bro.
uh
Seriously, they had a pallet. They had like a pallet of
yeah, when we went back, I was
it
like,
was insane. It's
yeah,
crazy. But
but
yeah, you're right. Like, it's not like Tampa was bad. I just think there's sometimes, I mean, the community knows it. Like, there were some issues sometimes they ran into that people were kind of not. I guess they were just fed up with.
yeah,
But it's a great location. I'm excited for that location in St. Louis just because it's a cool rink too.
yeah. Sick
Um,
rank. The tile's always good there. It's always set up correctly. and I think I'm not sure if I heard this correctly, but I think they were like melting the rinks. I don't know if that was last year or this year, but I think they have to melt the rinks anyway this year or something. So that made it like an ideal location for them to go, knowing that they're not going to run into issues. So the other interesting thing is going to be like I'm more so thinking from a tournament side, like seeing tours run without having the issues, right? Like the past couple of years, that's been kind of like their Achilles heel that they've had so many issues with Tampa. So it's gonna be interesting to see who plays in it, how it's
Yeah.
run, and everything with them not having issues.
Yeah. I
Cross.
mean, and you're right because who plays in it? Because now, kind of, let's talk about another thing too. Is you got
Yeah,
the new tournament, Bearcat Nationals. You know, it's the first tournament of its, I guess of their
existence.
existence. So there's no like qualifier, regional, or first tournament. Boom, bang, here we are. We're going summer nationals, which it's cool to see, right? In roller, it's nice to see something else. But yeah, Bearcat Nationals. That's gonna be located in Fraser, Michigan, which is kind of around the same time as Tours. So it is gonna be interesting to see who's gonna go to what. We're here just to report on the sport. That's all we're doing here. One thing that Bearcat Nationals has is that $40,000 cash prize,
Huge.
and if
Yeah, it's a
that's
huge
that
cash
if that
prize.
is true, like, and that they actually are giving that out, that's huge, man. Like how can you deny to want to play for $40,000, right?
Yeah,
Um, but at the same time, hopefully the tournaments ran like that $40,000 cash pro tournament, right?
yeah,
And I guess we have no, you know, can't knock it or we can't say it is just because it hasn't happened yet. But it is something that's going to be interesting to see this summer. Narch and State Wars are going to succeed as always. Then that no one's touching that. That's a
yeah,
staple in the sport as
yeah,
always.
yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see with that Bearcat National same time as kind of around tours in the same area.
Like you said, other tournaments they've been around for a while, so they have their followings. They have teams that commit, years a year in advance, right? Like you think about these international teams and stuff like that. They commit to these tournaments. The thing that I thought was interesting, at least on the initial post, I don't know if this is going to change or not, right? It's still very new, is like a 6 game round rob or 6 game minimum for pro.
That's a
Like
lot.
that's a lot. It's like three. If you look at a normal tournament, you're there for 3 to 4 days,
That's like a
right?
5 day tournament.
That's a 5 day tournament, so it's gonna be interesting. Now, I think the thing that they maybe have going for them is in the middle of the country, so you probably can get half teams driving there, so it's not as bad as far as like airfare and stuff like that goes. But that was the thing that I found most interesting, and I know that they run ice hockey stuff, so like as far as running a tournament goes, they should have a good grasp on running a tournament. Getting into a new scene is going to be the biggest adjustment, is like gaining new customers, getting people interested in it, getting signups, and you know how roller is, it's flaky as hell sometimes. Getting people to commit to it's going to be the biggest thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. 6 game minimum. That's wild. That's crazy. Maybe you do 3 games a day. But
yeah, I
even
guess
then,
that's what they
like,
have to do.
but you don't really have like you'd have to do it on separate sheets, right? Couldn't do it on one
Yeah.
sheet. I mean,
Yeah, that's another great point, is that you're probably gonna have to split it up, right? You're gonna have to games at the same time. Where I think with State Wars, the one cool thing is they do these blocks where you have a huge block of pro, then a couple game break. And no, it's cool. They usually throw championship games in between those pro blocks. So
yeah.
a lot of people are still around watching those championship games for like, whatever division. Then they start back up the pro block again.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this one's scheduled. Again, still very new. You're going to see, I'm sure more things come to fruition as we get closer and closer, who's actually committed, who's going, and things like that. And that's going to, kind of determine a lot of things on how the tournament's
Yeah.
going to
I
run
mean, we
too.
don't, there's not a pro team committed, I guess, yet, you could say. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll see. Narch will be back in Irvine, California. Like we just talked about Irvine. I, One thing about that is that when you think of Narch, you think of Irvine, kind of, right? Like
Oh,
Narch
yeah.
Summer Finals, and that's one rink with the still mat now. It's such a that is roller. Like when you talk about playing roller in Cali, for the people in California, they get to play that all the time. But for the people that don't get to play that, it's an experience and it's something like no other. And especially like Europeans coming over and people from overseas, they see that and they're just like, this is the coolest thing in the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
It really is. So, Narch being back in Irvine, that's just a staple. That's just something that I think everyone looks forward to.
Yeah, I agree.
To be honest, at this point. And the newly added beer garden that Darren's had the last couple of tournaments. That's a hit as
Yeah, yeah.
always. Yeah, we
Can
know.
we talk? That thing is so they had a 12% vodka lemonade
What
like out of a tap, and I'll just talk. Aiden Boyle, kid from my rank, his dad had like three of them, and he was kind of pickled in the middle of the
guy
day.
on the ground or what?
No, it wasn't on the ground, but so this would be funny. Like he was like talking to me at the booth, and he's got one in his hand, and like Darren's camera's like right next to him. Like, dude, you got to step away. Like, you can't mess up this camera. Like, that's
Yeah,
his livelihood. Like, step away from. Like, I feel like an officer.
your
Like, step
son's
away
gonna
from the
be
vehicle.
suspended from Narch.
Yeah, yeah, he's never gonna be able to play again. But so like he like it. He was just like, dude, why? He's like, I feel like this is hit me pretty hard. I'm like, yeah, you're drinking 12%. He's like, these are 12%. Like he didn't even know. So they were like 12% vodka lemonades, but it was cool. The beer was good. The vodka lemonades I had were good there. Like they were pretty, it was pretty sweet. Like sitting down, and especially right after a championship game, it's sick that you can just walk outside the rink, sit down,
Perfect
have a beer with
weather.
the team, drink out of the cup, whatever, if you're at that
Yeah,
age, right? So for the men's divisions, it's pretty cool that like they had that there. So I thought it was, I think it's an awesome touch. And they always have the taco stand too, which is really cool.
yeah,
I get a free meal a day, so I took advantage of that thing. But that was pretty cool.
yeah. No, I think yeah, Irvine. It's just it's an unreal spot. So every time you think of Narch finals, you're like, all right, cool, Irvine. You can kind of plan a vacation around that too. So
Yeah,
especially if you're
that's what
bringing
I
a
did.
lady,
Yeah,
bring someone like they love that. So great spot. And man, I just love going to Cali. It's just so fun. Just going to the
so
beach and
has
stuff. It's
so
just a
has.
different vibe, different vibe.
Yeah,
State Wars and Pama Pro Invitational, and they're also adding the Global Inline Junior Challenge, right?
yeah, yeah,
So this is going to be in Taylor, Michigan, so in Detroit. This rink for me, I played so many tournaments growing up there, like AAU and stuff. This was
yeah.
like the Recplex when I was a kid for me. Like it, and it still is. Like I love this rink just because it used to have all the sheets roller during the summer sometimes. But the setup they have there, I love that setup. It's on par with Michigan, or with Missouri, I would say. Just how they set it up.
Yeah, I think it's a good setup. The vendor, like the vendor lobby, I guess you would call it, is all
Plenty of
really
parking
nice.
too. That's a huge
Uh,
thing. That
huge,
place is
huge.
the best parking lot. The
Yeah,
best,
I would
period.
say so.
In
Because
roller.
even at St. Pete's Recplex, like the parking of the two lots, so sometimes you can get stuck in that far
Yeah.
lot. But yeah, I think Taylor, and again, I had like when we first met, remember I had like the crazy Airbnb experience. So like I was out
Yeah.
on Taylor. I was like, this place, I hate Detroit, like the whole nine. Last time I went with the Shakers, went out after, went into the city near the ballpark, and it was actually really nice. Like I took back everything I said. Like we had a blast. It was funny. There was a bunch of guys out that night and started pouring on a rooftop bar. And we're all like scrambling to get inside. It was like funny watching all these guys from the tour of it, like just struggling. But it's actually not a bad spot. And if you again stay in the right areas, it's it is nice. So,
Yeah.
but the setup for the rink sick. The main rink is pretty sweet, and I think for me at least the broadcasting from there and in St. Louis have the best broadcasting
It's
angles.
hard to beat St. Louis because I
Yeah.
think Taylor has the netting right there.
Yeah, so I think
But
they
they do
cut it
have
down last time. Yeah,
Yeah, but they do have that broadcasting booth. But yeah, I love that rink. They got the pro shop there, and the way the vendors can set up is kind of like really centered around the
it's
rink.
tight too. Yeah,
Yeah, very right there too. So yeah, I love that. And they always add something new, so it'll be exciting to see this global inline, junior challenge. I know
yeah,
last year they added the North America, different the regions, getting to
yep,
represent your region through Team USA, and that's just
yep,
part of the USA development squad that they're all creating. That Darren's involved with, Dan Maxwell, Greg Thompson, Tim
Danny,
McManus,
yep,
and then Aliera and Laura
yep,
on the other side of the women's. So
yeah.
it's
And there was with that being said, like so this is awesome because the off birth years, right? That don't always get a international tournament to play in. Now they have this global series or global inline challenge to play in. So those kids who kind of get screwed over on the birth year side of things because it's not like
they're like
juniors.
too young or yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So they're too young and they miss the year, or they're too old to miss the year. So it's cool that they're going to have these different age groups on there now that are able to compete in an international level. So that's pretty cool. And I think that was kind of the driving force to why they did it, and obviously growing, the game and maybe the future, along with the future of roller and getting to play for your country. Like you did the USAR stuff back in the day, right? When you got to play for
Like
like,
AAU.
yeah, the
Yeah.
AAU, like
So my
Midwest or
team, look, it's so funny. So I got put on Team USA North,
okay.
okay, and my Team USA North was like a whole bunch of guys from Philly. So Pittsburgh Bandits kids.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the
this kid,
Bandits.
this kid
Woo.
Dylan Rohar. Um, fuck, this other kid named like AJ Inger or something like that, maybe.
AJ Anger's from our area. He
No,
was
no, it
like,
wasn't AJ. It was something else. Then, um, but there's a couple other kids, the couple Philly dudes. Matt Fisher was on my team from Ohio.
okay,
My boy Matt
yeah,
Fisher. That's how I met him. Man, there's a couple of, but it was fun. It was like great experience. I loved that. That was one of the funnest things. Got
yeah.
trashed by Team USA West. They were just nasty.
That's yeah. I mean, those were like I remember when Junior Olympics was in Philly at Feasterville. They did their back
It
to
was
back
there.
years.
That's where it was in
Yeah.
Feasterville.
So it's fun. It's like crazy because you're just younger. Obviously, birth years we never like crossed paths, but I remember the one year in Junior Olympics. I think one of the countries backed out last minute, so they asked us to play with just local guys in the junior division. We wound up winning, but they never gave us the gold because we weren't an international team. So they basically gave the second place team the gold, and they did silver and bronze, and which made it kind of interesting because that bronze medal game was playing for silver. So it was
Yeah.
like interesting how it worked out because they were basically like, yeah, you guys can't win. We're wearing like the pro shops jerseys, like that at the rank. It was called mainstream hockey. We're in like mainstream hockey jerseys. Then we're
So
playing like
funny.
USA, Namibia. We're playing all these internationals. It was pretty funny. But
That's
um,
awesome.
but yeah, I mean, it's trying to get back to that. I think is the whole thing, right? Trying to get back to those more regions being involved, getting more kids involved, so they have a chance to represent USA on some scale. So
Yeah, no, it'll be sick. So yeah, that's kind of your your locations, and then for your your main nationals tournaments for over the summer. So yeah, should be a good summer for 2025, especially with those pro teams. And then you got a couple international tournaments that will be going on too. So it'll be interesting just to see who's going to go there, who's going to go where.
yeah,
Um, got a lot of tournaments here in North America in 2 month to 3 month span too. And
yeah,
then also, Colorado Cup. Colorado Cup. It's going to be worth $10,000 in May. So it's another thing just to get going. It's a lot of money to be won this summer. I would say
yeah.
almost about
There's
100K,
yeah, that's crazy. It would be like we talk
10K a
about like
person.
we talk about like the PGA Tour all the time, like how it's kind of a combination of tournaments, kind of culminating
The
like
roller tour, the RDN roller
rolling.
tour.
That's hell yeah. I actually bought a six. I'll give Dan Maxwell a shout out here real quick. He had a six shirt that says RHA Tour, and it's like the PGA
Oh, I've
logo,
seen
but it's a
that.
roller
Yeah.
guy. I was like, give me that right away, and he
I
just
got
made
a
it for me.
uh I got a Wheel Hut one instead of Pizza
Yeah,
Hut. It
yeah,
says
the
Wheel
pizza.
Hut.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
on the back it says like it's like the hockey saying.
yeah.
And
It's
it's
pretty
so
sick.
funny. I get comments on it because I'll wear it, and people are like, "Oh, that's Pizza Hut sick." I'm like, "Dude, what?" And then I
That's
realize it
agreed.
looks exactly like the Pizza Hut, because it
He
says Wheel
had
Hut. So.
he had a Miller High Life take on one, and I got it for my
I think
buddy.
he has every brand. He has like a
Dude,
PS,
it's
PlayStation one.
whoever, yeah, play like whoever does
Dan
his
Maxwell is
designs.
just up at night, just looking at different logos. Like, all
I
right,
don't know who
Coca
does them.
Cola.
Yeah, like my buddy got the High Life one, and last night someone was like, "Dude, that's a sick hoodie. Like, where'd you get a High Life hoodie?" And it says like, I think it says like Roller Life instead of High Life on there. And he's like, "Dude, it's like a roller hockey shirt. I have an absolute. It's hanging up in the back. I have an absolute roller one for the
I've
absolute vodka.
yeah, I've
So
seen that.
there's he does some good shit with that little wheel hut. And dude, he's every time I've been there, he's giving me a hoodie, giving me a hat, giving me a shirt, whatever. So he's appreciative of us. He says it all the time to me, like, "Yo, I
Dan's
love
a
all you
beauty.
guys
He's
do." Yeah,
one of the funnest guys to go out with too after the
yeah.
game. Just have a beer with. Guy's a great guy.
And
So loves the game.
yeah, he loves the game. He's totally committed to it. And like it's funny because when I met him years ago, he was like working for State Wars, just like a TD. And I didn't really know who he was. And then like finally went out to HB the first time we actually like when I hunted you down because you were hiding in the dark. I was like, who the hell is this roller
Bro,
dang?
I
I
was
gotta go
live
find him.
streaming.
I know. I was like, where's he at? Where's he at? And being Wakefield, we're like trying to pinpoint you. And then I finally found you. But like when I met him there, I kind of realized how much of it like he did in the California area.
Yeah,
So
I remember when I was younger, played Stallions and Kodiaks. We'd go down to Arizona, and he coached the Mission Arizona Stars. And
okay.
Arizona used to before the Outcast was kind of. I mean, Outcast still exists, but it was like Excalibur. Team
Okay.
Excalibur, where a lot of
Yeah, I
those
remember that.
players
Yeah.
played. And then I could be wrong. So if anybody's listening to this that play on the Outcasts, the old team, they were first. Do you remember Siven or Seven? Do you remember
I
like the
don't.
gloves, like the Siven or Seven
Oh,
gloves?
seven. Yeah.
Yeah,
They had
they were like
pants
the
too. They
Seven
roller pants.
Outcast. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Like that was their first name.
Dude,
So
they had wild. I remember the pants. There's a
yeah,
kid in my league who still wears seven pants. I swear, it's crazy.
yeah.
Like,
Remember?
dude,
Did
everyone
you
knows
do
it.
you remember Next?
Yeah, yeah. Next, yeah, or next ad, right? Wasn't it next ad?
Yeah.
Dude, some WSI. Like, remember those pants? They were
Hmm.
brutal. They were ugly as
Dude,
hell.
Black Biscuit. Did you
Yeah,
ever
the
have
OG
those?
black biscuits.
Oh
They were
yeah.
like boot cuts. They were
Oh yeah,
shitty.
dude.
They were like
Those
Jenko
things.
jeans. Yeah.
Yeah, insane. But yeah, so anyways, I think we've covered it all. I think we've covered it all. Back in the roller scene. Kind of just refreshed everyone's brains on what's going on in roller, and hopefully those who are still listening, you're the true ones. But yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, it's been a lot, and it's been a while since we've done one of these. Obviously, we're both super busy with
We got
stuff.
some big news coming. RDN States too.
I know. Are we talking about it or no?
Let's just leave that off to the
All
next
right.
pod.
Let's
Let's
let it be a surprise next
Yeah,
time.
on the next pod, you guys are gonna find out where RDN is moving. RDN is officially moving to a new state.
HQ's
New
moving.
HQ's moving. Rob Woods is moving from the state of Colorado to a new state. So the next pod,
Guesses in the comments.
yeah, guesses in the
Where's Rob
comments.
going?
Yeah, where's
Where's
Rob
Rob
going?
going?
But yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm
Well, hold
excited.
on. We got to talk about something.
Yeah, let's go.
Congratulations to Rob getting engaged.
Oh yeah,
Well,
dude, engaged.
that's how long it's been. Holy shit. I was
Hell
like
yeah.
so happy for you. Like, you called me and I was at work. And I remember I was walking into work and you called me to tell me. And I was like, fuck, I gotta like stay out here. Like, I'm not going in yet. And like we
Yeah.
talked for like 30 minutes about it. And I'm gonna say this about you. You did way more planning for this engagement than or proposal engagement for this proposal than I did for mine. Like, I couldn't even find my location. Like, I Googled it when I did it, and then I couldn't find it when I was actually there. Like, you had photographer, you had like not a script, but you had a nice, just like you do with the pods, you had a nice outline of how it should go. And yeah, you're joining. That's it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be roller dad soon enough.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. So you pumped to be a groomsman?
Yeah, fucking right. And wherever it's at, I don't know if we're talking about that, but if it's
It's gonna
in,
be in Mexico. It's
if
gonna
it's
be in
okay, so we
Mexico.
talk about it.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
soon as I told Kimmy, she's like, "Hell yeah, we get a fucking
yeah,
Mexican vacation." I'm in.
yeah.
We both love Mexico.
Yeah. It's gonna be unreal. It's gonna be a different type
Oh,
of vacation, middle of Mexico. So you guys are gonna love it. But
how
yeah,
did we forget of it? That should have opened up with that.
yeah.
The
Anyways,
king, the king's getting engaged.
the RDN Kings get engaged. So next pod, you guys are gonna find out where HQ is gonna be and
Yeah,
where Rob might just try to grow roller. Maybe you might see maybe a new type of demon dog team. I don't know. The
dude,
RDN demon dogs will live on forever here.
I was just gonna say,
The boys are going to take it over. I have no doubt and no question in my mind. So boys are going to take over, handing it off the keys to them. We build something. Pi Haw Pro Champs. Very proud of that.
yeah,
Um,
you can't have sick gear like you're like that hat is. I've been looking at it the entire time. I mean, kind of have the same thing going
yeah,
on with the rubber patch on the front,
yeah,
but you can't like. I mean, I give away those Colorado stickers to guys in my league, and they think it's
yeah.
like the sickest color combo.
Yeah.
So
So we're gonna find out where the new they're not gonna be the demon
maybe
dogs.
that's
They'll
what
be
you do.
some
You find the state's colors, and you kind of make a new RDN logo on it.
that state has so many colors.
I know, I know. Well, put it this way: wherever you go, it's going to be good for that area.
And I think I might be, yeah, it's gonna be good for that area, and I might be it's gonna be great. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
we can't release
Yeah.
anymore. We've got to leave it a mystery for the time being. So.
All right. Catch you on the next one, boys.